Have you ever felt trapped? Like your choices go unnoticed? Like you're just another option in other people's lives? It's as if you're screaming in an empty room. No one hears. No one cares. Now imagine a strategy so powerful, it can transform you from invisible to unforgettable, from just another choice to the only choice. This is a technique based on Carl Jung's psychology, used by brilliant minds to stand out and dominate any social or professional setting. In just 1 minute, you'll uncover the secret that can change how the world sees you, but only if you stay until the end. If you're tired of being ignored, of feeling like your voice doesn't matter, then subscribe now, hit the bell icon, and watch until the end. Because this strategy might just be what finally makes you seen, heard, and remembered. Let me tell you a story about someone named James. James was the guy who always stayed in the background, the friend everyone liked but no one truly noticed. He was the one who listened to conversations, gave advice, but when it was time to shine, to be the center of attention, he simply faded into the crowd. At work, his ideas were overlooked. In meetings, he felt his words vanished into thin air. At home, with family, he felt like an invisible support, never the main character. James carried a weight in his chest, a feeling that no matter how hard he tried, he would never be enough, never be the first choice. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're running on a treadmill, giving your all, but getting nowhere? James felt this every day. He started to wonder, am I the problem? Do I just not have what it takes to be noticed? This doubt ate away at him, made him feel small, as if the world was saying, you're not important. But then, something changed. James discovered a strategy, an approach that wasn't about shouting louder or changing who he was, but about understanding what truly makes people see you. It was like he had found a key to unlock a door he didn't even know existed. He started applying this technique, inspired by Carl Jung's ideas, and suddenly, people began to listen, to really pay attention. At work, his ideas started gaining traction. In conversations, he felt he had power, that his presence mattered. James stopped being an option and became the choice. And the most incredible part, he didn't need to change who he was. He just needed to understand how the game of perception works. Today, James isn't that guy in the background anymore. He's the guy who walks into a room and shifts the energy of the space. And you know what's craziest? This transformation didn't happen because he got richer, more attractive, or more outgoing. It happened because he learned to use a psychological tool that anyone can use, including you. But how exactly did he do it? What did he discover that changed everything? Stick with me, because this is the part you won't want to miss. Now that you've seen what happened with James, let's dive deeper. Why do some people seem naturally magnetic, as if the world revolves around them, while others, like James before, struggle to be noticed? It's not about luck or having a perfect face or a fat bank account. It's about understanding how the human mind works, how it decides who's important and who's just, well, an option. Carl Jung, the genius behind depth psychology, discovered that we all carry something called archetypes, universal patterns that shape how we perceive the world and how the world perceives us. These archetypes are like roles we can choose to play, like the hero, the sage, the king. But here's the problem. Most of us, without realizing it, end up choosing roles that diminish us, that make us seem secondary. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like you needed to prove something, like you had to try hard to be accepted? That happens because, without knowing it, you're projecting a weak archetype, one that says, I'm just another guy. James did this all the time. He walked into meetings with the posture of someone who just wanted to avoid trouble. And guess what? People treated him exactly that way. But when he discovered how to align his presence with a powerful archetype, everything changed. He started being seen as the leader, the visionary, even without saying an extra word. That's what Jung's strategy does. It teaches you to activate the archetype that makes people respect you, admire you, choose you. But here's the part that will make you think. You're already using archetypes every day, just probably the wrong way. Every time you hesitate before speaking, every time you put yourself in the background, you're reinforcing a pattern that keeps you invisible. And the worst part, it's not just about you, it's about how the world responds to you. Think about it. When was the last time you felt someone truly saw you, valued you for who you are? If that doesn't happen often, it's not because you're not enough, it's because you're not using the right tool. The good news, that tool is within your reach, and it doesn't require you to change who you are, just how you present yourself. Imagine walking into a room and, effortlessly, feeling people drawn to you, your words carrying weight, your presence mattering. This isn't magic, it's psychology, and it's rooted in Jung's ideas. But before I tell you exactly how to do this, I need to warn you. This strategy isn't just about being noticed. It's about taking control of your life, your space, your value. And when you do that, some people will feel uncomfortable because they're used to seeing you as an option. Are you ready for that change? To be the kind of person who doesn't ask permission to shine? Because what's coming next will show you exactly how to make that leap. And believe me, it's simpler than you think, but it requires you to be willing to look at yourself in a new way. Let's take it a step further. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have an almost magnetic power, as if they know exactly how to make the world work in their favor? It's not by chance. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history, spent decades studying the human mind, and he discovered something that changed everything. He said that within each of us lies a set of invisible forces, the archetypes, that shape how we behave and how we're perceived. These archetypes aren't new. They've been rooted in humanity for thousands of years. Think of ancient stories, Greek myths, the kings, warriors, and sages who dominated the narratives. Those figures weren't just characters. They represented universal patterns that still today dictate who's noticed and who's forgotten. Jung studied these ancient traditions, from Egyptian tales to indigenous legends, and realized that archetypes are like secret codes of the psyche. He wrote in his book, Ion, that when you align your presence with a powerful archetype, you activate an energy that makes people see you as essential. And here's a secret few know. You don't need to be a real king or hero, you just need to know how to project that energy. Modern psychologists, like Jordan Peterson, who deeply studied Jung's ideas, explain that when you adopt the posture of an archetype like the leader or the visionary, your body and mind start to transform. Your voice becomes firmer, your posture more confident, and people respond to it without even knowing why. Peterson says this is biology and psychology working together, something programmed in us since caveman days. But here's something not everyone tells you. The great leaders of history, from Cleopatra to Martin Luther King, used these principles, even if they didn't know the technical name. They knew how to position themselves, how to speak, how to make the world feel they were indispensable. And what's most fascinating, this isn't reserved for geniuses or celebrities. Behavioral psychology studies, like those done at Harvard University, show that anyone can learn to project this presence. They call it power posing, but Jung knew this long before. He just called it archetype activation. Now, here's something you won't find in any self-help book. The key to using this strategy isn't just knowing archetypes exist. It's knowing which one you're projecting now and how to shift to one that elevates you. For example, many people, without realizing, project the archetype of the follower, the one who pleases, who avoids conflict. That's great for keeping the peace, but terrible for being noticed. James, who I told you about, was stuck in this pattern. He discovered that by shifting to the archetype of the leader, he didn't need to shout or force himself. People just started gravitating toward him. And the best part, this isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's about accessing a part of you that already exists, but you never learned to use. Psychologists who work with Jung, like Robert Moore, author of King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, say we all have these archetypes within us, but most never learn to activate them. And here's the game changer. Activating the right archetype is like flipping a switch in your mind. Suddenly you stop asking for permission and start commanding the space. But how do you do this in practice? What are the exact steps to stop being an option and become the choice? This is the part that will surprise you because it's simpler than it seems. But it requires you to be willing to look at yourself with courage. Now that you know Jung's archetypes can transform how the world sees you, here's the part that will get you hooked. There's a specific step, a technique so simple you can use it today that lets you activate the archetype of the leader, the visionary, or even the hero in any situation. And the craziest part, you don't need years of therapy or an expensive charisma course. It's something James learned in just a few days, and it changed everything for him. But before I tell you exactly what it is, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have a glow, an energy that makes everyone want to be around them? It's not about what they say, it's about how they make you feel. That's the magic of the right archetype. What James discovered was a way to flip that internal switch, to make people feel he was someone important without changing his personality. Want to know the first step? It's realizing your mind already knows how to do this. It just needs a little push. Think about it. When you're in a moment of total confidence, like when you nail something at work or win an argument with flawless points, you feel unstoppable, don't you? That's your powerful archetype trying to break free. The technique James used is like a shortcut to access that state whenever you want. And here's the part that will make you want to know more. This technique involves 3 specific actions you can do in under 5 minutes before any important situation, whether it's a meeting, a conversation, or even a date. These actions trick your brain into projecting an energy people can't ignore. But I'm not going to tell you everything now, because understanding why this works is just as important as knowing what to do. If I gave you the full recipe without context, it would be like handing you a Ferrari without teaching you how to drive. What you need to know is that these 3 actions are based on how Jung explained the connection between body, mind, and perception. And the best part, anyone can do them, whether you're introverted, extroverted, young, or old. Want a taste of what's coming? One of these actions has to do with how you use your body to trick your mind. Curious? Then stick with me, because what's next will show you how to put this into practice and change the game of your life. Now that you're curious about this technique, let's talk about what it can really do for you. Imagine this. You walk into a room and, without saying a word, people sense you're someone who matters. It's not about arrogance, it's about inner confidence, the feeling that you're enough, that your voice deserves to be heard. When you activate the right archetype, like James did, you don't just change how others see you, but how you see yourself. Psychologically, this is transformative. Studies show that when you project confidence, your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter that makes you feel good, powerful, in control. This creates a cycle. The more confident you appear, the more confident you feel, and that changes everything. You stop doubting yourself, stop wondering if you're good enough. At work, this means your ideas are no longer ignored. They carry weight. People start turning to you to lead, to decide. In your personal life, you attract people who truly value you, not those who treat you like an option. Remember James, the guy who felt invisible, who thought he'd never be the first choice. After he started using this Jungian strategy, he didn't just get promoted at work, he started feeling more alive, more present. He told me once, I used to hide. Now I walk into any place knowing my presence makes a difference. And the best part, this isn't just for him. It's for anyone willing to take that step. Another psychological benefit is reduced social anxiety. When you know you're projecting a powerful archetype, that voice in your head saying, "What will they think of me?" starts to quiet down. You stop worrying about rejection because you know you're offering value, that you're the choice, and there's more. This technique helps you create deeper connections because when you show up with authenticity and strength, people trust you. They want to be around you. Imagine what your life would be like if, instead of feeling like a spare part, you felt like the center of the stage, not out of ego, but because you finally understood how to show who you really are. James learned this, and now he lives with a freedom he never thought possible. And the most incredible part, it all starts with those 3 actions I mentioned earlier, actions you can start using today. But to truly master this, you need to understand how these actions connect to your mind and the world around you. We've reached the end, but here's the truth. The journey to stop being an option is just beginning. You now know that Carl Jung's archetypes can transform how the world sees you, that 3 simple actions can activate an energy that makes you the choice, not just another alternative. But here's the mystery that will make you think. These 3 actions aren't just about changing your posture or words. They touch something deeper, something Jung called the shadow, a part of you that you might be ignoring. What happens when you confront that shadow, when you unlock your full potential? James discovered this, and it was like he opened a door to a version of himself he didn't even know existed. And are you ready to open that door? Because here's the final secret. The real transformation doesn't come just from applying the technique. It comes from understanding why it works, from diving into the psychology that makes you unforgettable. And that's something we'll explore in the next video, where I'll reveal not only the exact 3 actions, but also how they connect to your shadow and why this can change your life forever. You won't want to miss it, because what's coming next is what separates those who dream of being noticed from those who truly dominate any environment. So, if you're tired of feeling invisible, of being just an option, do this now. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next video, leave a like to support this content, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And in the comments, tell me, what's the situation where you most want to be noticed? A work meeting, a conversation with friends, a defining moment in your life? Your response will help me bring more content that truly makes a difference for you. Don't put it off, because every day you wait is another day living as an option. Join this transformation now, because you deserve to be the choice.